Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Today, my friends, I am going to share with you days 22 through 31 of my Oddtober 24 daily. Oddtober is a prompt series hosted by Pink Oddbird and released the Craftin. These prompts tell a story, and essentially you can do as much or as little as you want. I am so happy because I did them all. Yep, I did them all, and I'm going to share what's left with you here today. So day 21 I shared with you, so we are going to turn the page to day 22. Trolls, they tell me they're hungry. I do the first thing I can think of and offer up the mushrooms I picked. Satisfied, they let me cross, and up ahead I see a little cottage. I'm not vibing on trolls, but I like the idea of mushrooms and a little cottage up ahead. So that's what I focused on. This is what I saw in my head. Very happy with the way this one turned out. I made my background, which has been a background that I have used continuously throughout the majority of my pages. Here I have a cottage. I focused the lighting in the center of the page, so it kind of draws your eye towards the center of the page and towards this cottage. Some mushrooms to pick up on that mushroom theme. And again, I used some paper dolls. So this is what I saw. This is what I made, and I'm very happy with it. I think it gives a very creepy, ominous vibe, which is the vibe I am going with this year with my Oddtober. So day 23. Here's day 23. And it reads, as I approach the cottage, a namesake on the door. It's my last name. I knock on the door and wait for the answer. Well, this is what I saw. I decided to focus on the door and someone peeking through the door. I don't know if you can see that. So I used some Tim Holtz window frames and door frames ephemera, some of his transparencies, a lot of his ephemera. I think along with being shocked that someone's looking back at her, this person's also going to be shocked that her car, which she abandoned, remember, she abandoned that car by the road, and here it is. How did it get here? Who brought it here? What's going on? So here I used some corrugated cardboard to create some texture and a background for the door, and some grit paste to create a ground to ground these images. Some paint splatter. I don't know if you can see that. You see this Tim Holtz paper doll behind the door kind of peering out. She's covered in splatter, blood splatter. And up here, I use some chip quotes, and it reads, an uninvited guest. So this was a wide page, but I folded it in half. And so you have to open this to get to prompt number 24. And I took the opportunity to use up some of the little Tim Holtz metal embellishments that I have quite a bit of. Some of his tokens. Here we have a little spider and a mini paper clip. When you open this up, which is kind of the idea of opening a door, right? Open this up. And here's day 24. And the prompt reads, the door opens and I step inside. Everything in the cottage looks like it belongs to a witch. Here is a background that I created using AI. Once I created the background, I blended it into the page using some black gesso and my Stabilo all pencil. I also used some ephemera. I think this is by 9 Gypsies. Is it called 9 Gypsies? I think it's called Nine Gypsies, was the ephemera pack. But it had this cute little mini file folder, and I just ripped this image off from the mini file folder because I love this little witches. And it looks like it belongs to a witch because it does belong to a witch. Maybe not just a witch, maybe a coven of witches, right? I love a coven. So, and I also have a little brad here that says toil and trouble. So that is day 24. We can close this up and move on to day 25. So day 25, because I folded the page in half to create that door effect, is a pretty narrow page, and it also has a fold out or flip out element to it. So day 25. And from the shadows, stepping into the light, I see her, a little woman with a kind face, staring back at me. I've been waiting for you, she says. So here is the room, kind of a close-up of the little space we saw when we walked in. This is more focused on maybe a corner in that room, and we see that same raven or crow that we saw earlier. Right? So maybe this little crow was sent out to lead this woman to the cottage. And when you open this is when you see the person step out from the corner. So what I did was I took, again, this is something I created using an AI program. And I went in and I highlighted certain aspects of it and altered it. Using my distressed crayons and my Stabilo oil pencil to add shadows and just a little more depth to it. And so I printed it on both sides, and the way I printed it and folded it, to me it looks like this person just appears from out of the corner. So that was a little fun effect. I enjoyed doing that. So that is day 25. And this paper clip serves a dual purpose to hold not only the door shut, but keep this flap from flapping uncontrollably. So that's day 25. Here is day 26, another narrow page. I don't know how that kind of got by me, but not intentional, but obviously it happened. The second half of this paper bag journal has a lot of narrow pages, so it was a little challenging. That was okay. So here's day 26. I gasp. She looks like the woman from the photo, only older. I take a seat and she offers me a cup of tea. This will help you get where you need to go. So first of all, girl, what are you doing? Don't drink that tea. What are you doing? But anyway, I decided to focus on the tea. The minute I read that prompt, I immediately thought of a dye that I've had in my stash forever, and that is this dye. So I took this dye. I took some Tim Holtz paper. I have some of his paper pads. I have the 8x8 size, and I just cut several of the teacups, stack them. I mean, I used some distressed oxide inks to kind of add some shadow to each of the cups, and I stacked them. At the top of the cup, I filled the cup with a pretty flower. And here are some tea bags. This is part of the dye. You can see it here. See it there? Okay. And then at the bottom, I have a little graveyard and some witches. And I tucked a couple of labels reading poison and toxic into the teacups because, you know, it might smell pretty, it might smell good, it might smell sweet, but I don't think it's good for you. And if I were her, I wouldn't drink it. But you do you, girl. So that was day 26. Now day 27, I was done dealing with these narrow pages. So this is just a little extra page that I did some collaging on because I did not want to do, and I really didn't want to do another narrow page. So I just decorated this page with some Tim Holtz ephemera and used some black paint splatter just to give it some interest. And I moved on to day 27. This is crazy, this one. So here's day 27. It reads, "Where am I? Are you coming with me?" I exclaim. She simply smiles at me and places a note in my hand and tells me to read it when I arrive. So what I decided to focus on was the note and the road. So I created my background. I created a tree. Let me try to angle this a little bit so you can see it. I revisited the idea of a kind of ghostly child sitting in the tree with some bat wings. I did that earlier at some point. Here he is. Here he is. So he is another another little kid with bat wings hanging in the tree because, you know, it's a creepy, spooky forest. Weird things going on. I use a Tim Holtz Halloween backdrop to create a very simple envelope. And there's a magnet. And when you open up the envelope, because I'm not waiting to open the envelope, I'm opening the envelope as soon as our friendly, sweet little lady leaves the room. I'm opening that envelope because that's just me. I'm not waiting. So it's a very pretty envelope she was handed. The note is, of course, inside the envelope. In my case, the next prompt is inside the envelope. I have these wax seals with some feathers and some pretty sparkly little dangly bits that I made some time ago. It's been sitting in my stash. I decided to use it here. Coincidentally, the colors work. So I glued it onto the top flap of the envelope so that it doesn't impede the envelope and keep it from opening or closing. And I just think it looks really pretty. Like I said, it has a magnet. I don't know if you can hear that, to help keep this closed. So when you open this, it reveals day 28. So day 28 reads, "I'm feeling woozy. I blink a few times and the cottage is gone. I'm back on the path in the woods. Before me are bones pointing the way ahead." And instead of bones pointing the direction that she should go, here I have a, dancing bag of bones, so to speak. This is one of my favorite woodblock stamps that I have in my tiny collection of woodblock stamps. I'm not even sure who this is by. It's by Stampendous. And I've had it forever. And I absolutely adore it. Here you have a skeleton with his umbrella, having his best, he's just living his best dead life, dancing. And I love this. So the minute I read bones, this is what I thought of. So I decided to stamp that here. And I think it just turned out super cute. So, when she wakes from her drug-induced sleep, or maybe this is what she's seen while she's kind of half in, half out of sleep. She's having these hallucinations of skeletons dancing in the woods. I don't know. But that's what I saw. That's what I made. That is day 28. Days 29, 30, and 31 are mini pages that I created using some popcorn bags. And once I read the prompts, the popcorn bags will make sense to you. I think these are vintage. I don't remember if they're vintage. I'm pretty sure they are. I know where I got them from. I got them from Diane, who is Pretty Pink Cottage. And I just don't remember if they're vintage or not. They likely are because she's just everything vintage. And I buy a lot of my vintage ephemera and supplies from her. So I'm thinking they are. Regardless, it'll make sense when I read the prompt. Sense. So day 29. I look down. I've still got the note and the key. I take steps forward, and strange, I can hear carnival music in the distance, and ahead I can make out the shape of a large house. Well, at this point, these last three prompts to me were so similar in what they inspired in terms of an image in my head that I decided to make them mini and keep them simple. Here's that same house we've seen earlier. So somehow this woman, this traveler, has found herself back where she started, if in fact she ever left. For all we know, she could be hallucinating. She can be on some kind of a trip. Too many mushrooms out in the woods. But kept it simple because I did want you to know and see that this is a bag of popcorn. So I just did the page on half of it. Okay, so I used black gesso, created my background, some white paint splatter, and again, this is more Tim Holtz ephemera, and I put the prompt right up there. I also attached some ribbon and used the brad. The back of this popcorn bag, because I did flatten it and I glued it so that it was less a bag now and more of a tag. The back of the tag has some Day of the Dead inspired paper because I am starting to transition at this point into Day of the Dead. Okay, so that was day 29. Here's day 30. Day 30, same idea, popcorn bag. The back is lined with some more Day of the Dead inspired paper. Here we have more ribbon, and the prompt reads, I get closer to the house. Oh no, it can't be. I see the all too familiar hand in the window, beckoning me forward. It's my relative's house. I'm back again. So here I revisited the witches that we have seen in at least two other places. We've seen them with the stack of teacups, and we saw them earlier when our friend here started her journey. I'm pretty sure we did. Here they are, hanging out by the tree in the very beginning, day 3. So I like kind of revisiting characters that I create in my stories, just to kind of go back and remind you of some of the earlier elements. And I just like the flow. I like the flow. So that's day 30. Day 30, and here I used another brad. Okay, and then finally day 31, my friends. Day 31 reads, I use my key to unlock the front door of my inherited house. I open the note in my hand and it says, welcome home, happy Halloween. So it all ends where it started. She was in her car driving on a dark, creepy road in the middle of the woods. So she's come full circle. She's found her way back to her car. She can get into her car, hopefully learned her lesson, be on her merry way, and she lives to celebrate another year. Maybe come back next year for Halloween. Maybe be a little more careful. But there we have it. I did all days 1 through 31, and the reason I added these colorful ribbon and these backgrounds here, because now you can see that the book is going to transition into Day of the Dead, and a little more color, more vibrant colors. So this is the start of Day of the Dead for me. I still have quite a few pages left in this book. I'm not sure that they will all be Day of the Dead, but at least Day of the Dead inspired, but at least one of them will. And as soon as I get that page done, I will share it with you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my interpretation of all of these prompts, my friends. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad that I picked it back up. For a second, I debated going back and doing the year I skipped, which was the carnival themed one, I guess. But yeah, we're going to leave that one. We're going to leave that one alone. We're just going to move on. My understanding is that this story will continue for another year. I would be interested in seeing where it goes, and hopefully the next chapter or next arc in the story will inspire me to participate in that one. So, thank you, my friends, for joining me. I truly do appreciate you, and I hope you will continue to visit me beyond Oddtober. I do plan on participating in a December prompt series. That one is called Defember Ember. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Defember Ember. That one is hosted by Barbara, who is 49 Dragonflies, and Louise Hensel. As the prep for Defember Ember has already started, and I'm excited about it. So, hope to see you again, my friends. Until next time, bye-bye.